Okay, going into the next phase of this, Job. Now, who was Job? Now, there's a lot of questions out there on what was the ethnicity of Job. What race was he? Okay. Now, just for historical purposes, we know that there is a testament of Job from the Septuagint. The Septuagint was a record during the time of the Ptolemies in which they wanted to study the laws of the Hebrews. The Greeks wanted to, so that they can understand how to rule over God's people. So in order to do this, they needed to understand the history of the Hebrews. And what the Ptolemy did, he got 42 scholars together, put them in separate rooms to translate the Old Testament. That's your Septuagint. One of the books in the Septuagint was the Testament of Job, in which he identifies himself as Esau, all right, or Edom. And that's just in a nutshell. And I'm saying this because you will run into this literature, and I thought that I would speak about it, but I can prove who he was within the scriptures itself, and I will in a moment. All right? Now, in the scriptures, which means the Bible, but I'm just putting it out there that you can find that literature in which, in the Septuagint, he says he's Esau. Now, based on this literature or this record, he realized that the God that his father was worshiping, which was Satan set up in the lands of Seir, in the land of Mount Seir, was not the God his father originally followed. Now don't forget, Esau, as we read in Genesis 25, did not come from another race. He came from the seed of Abraham. So when he was growing up, he wasn't learning about the God that he followed once he began to reject the God of Abraham. At one time, he followed the God of Jacob. At one time. So, in this literature, Job is looking to follow that God opposed to the God his grandfather rejected. That was just one man. Now, other things that I've learned in Scripture, and I'm going to prove this, Job was a king. That's number one, and I'm going to prove that. There's no history of Job or Jobab king over the children of Israel under Judah. So we know that he could not have been a king over Israel, but yet his record is in the Bible. Now, for geographical reasons, and I have some pictures here. I need some light. Maybe cut on this light here, please. Just for geographical reasons. Thank you. That's better. That's better. Thank you. For geographical reasons, I got some literature here of ancient Israel. So you can see where the Edomites lived. Right here. This is the map of ancient Israel. And the Edomites lived not too far from Israel in mountainous terrain. This area right here is all of Israel and Palestine. As you can see, all down there. And the Edomites lived not too far from where the children of Israel resided. For those who want to see it here. So I wanted to show you this because some people might think that Esau was some foreign god nowhere near the land of Israel. All right? So let's go into Job real quick. And after this, I'll open this up for questions. Let's go to Job, the first chapter. Job 1:1.
Job chapter 1, verse 1.
Go ahead.
There was a man in the land of Uz.
There was a man in the land of Uz. Now, I need you to document this landmass. Uz, which is U-Z. The land of Uz, go ahead.
whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared the Most High.
So we know this man in the land of Uz was perfect and upright, and one that feared the Most High. So that's all we know about him right now. We're reading the book. We don't know his ethnicity. We don't know what this guy is doing in the land of Uz based on these writings here. So let's do a fact-finding expedition together. A brief fact-finding expedition. Let's go into the places that leads us to figure out what this Uz is. Where's this landmass? Let's go to Genesis 10 and 22. Go ahead.
The children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram. Read on.
Go ahead.
And the children of Aram, Uz, and Hul, and Gether, and Mash.
So this is the first place we hear of Uz in Genesis the 10th chapter. All right? Now, this is before the Job that we're reading of, which is given you in Uz because this is the places in which you would have to start your research. If you're using a concordance, you're going to go any place where it says Uz. Go down to the 29th verse.
Verse 29. And Ophir, and Havilah, and Jobab. All these were the sons of Joktan.
Now it says Jobab was the sons of who?
Were the sons of Joktan.
Was the sons of Joktan. Read.
Verse 30.
Now when you read this, some people would try to relate this Jobab to Job in Genesis based on the fact that you see Uz and you see Jobab. And that would be an understandable assessment originally. But there's an issue here. I'm going to show you the issue. Let's go to Lamentations. Lamentations 4 and 21. Lamentations 4 and 21. After Jeremiah. Lamentations 4 and 21. Read that.
Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom.
Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of who?
O daughter of Edom.
O daughter of Edom. Read.
That dwellest in the land of Uz.
That dwelleth in the land of what?
That dwellest in the land of Uz.
That dwellest in the land of Uz. So here's a question. Can we place the Job that's written of in the book of Job in the land of Uz, in the land of Esau, or Esau in the land of Uz, the same time as Job? And is Job the Job in Genesis 10 or a different Job? Let's leave it open for a moment, because as we can see, read Lamentations 4 and 21 again.
Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz.
That dwelleth in the land of Uz. Read.
The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and shalt make thyself naked.
So here's a future judgment in Scripture against the Edomites in the land of Uz. I need you to hold that for a moment and just think about that. So let's get a time period for this Job. Where was he? Who was he acquainted with? Who was Job friends? Let's go to Job, the 2nd chapter. Let's go to Job 2.
Verse 11.
Let me get there with you here. Therefore, we can get a time period here. Job 2, and let's start at 11. That's it.
Job 2, verse 11.
Go ahead.
Now when Job's 3 friends heard of all this evil that was come upon him,
When Job's 3 friends heard of all this evil that was come upon him,
they came every one from his own place.
they came everyone from his own place.
Eliphaz,
Eliphaz,
the Temanite,
the Temanite, read,
and Bildad, the Shuhite,
and Bildad the Shuhite, go ahead,
and Zophar, the Naamathite.
read,
For they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him.
So as you can see, this gives us 3 separate friends who came to visit Job, which gives us a time period in which this Job existed. So a Job from any other era in the Bible can be excluded if they're not during the time of these 3 friends. Crystal clear, right? Now, let's see what time period was Eliphaz, the Temanite. I would like you to go to Genesis 36,
Okay.
right? Genesis 36. Yeah. Okay. Genesis 36, go ahead.
Verse 1.
Start at the first verse.
Genesis 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau.
These are the generations of who?
Of Esau.
These are the generations of Esau. Now, we know that Esau was Jacob's brother, or is Jacob's brother, according to the scriptures we read earlier. Right? Finish reading.
Who is Edom?
Who is who?
Who is Edom?
Who is Edom, or the Edomites? All right? Read.
Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, Adar, the daughter of Elon, the Hittite, and Halabiah,
Yeah.
the daughter of Anna, the daughter of Zibeon, the Hivite, and Bashemath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebojah.
Go ahead.
And Adar bare to Esau Eliphaz.
Bear to Esau who?
And Adar bare to Esau Eliphaz.
And Adar bare to Esau Eliphaz. So this alone tells us that this cannot be the Jobab of Genesis, the 10th chapter. The 10th chapter was right after the flood, when the nations were split. Eliphaz was not born through any of them at that time. Eliphaz was born through Esau, as we can see. So this excludes the Jobab you read in Genesis, the 10th chapter, based on who Job's friend is. That's crystal clear. It excludes Genesis 10 right there. It's not that Job. Right? Now we're putting this before you as evidence as in court. The scriptures give clues based on the people who came to console Job. Now Eliphaz had a son. I need you to go to Eliphaz and see what son Eliphaz had. Read Genesis 36 and 11.
And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman.
Word Teman, because eventually that landmass in Eliphaz was named after his son. That's why it calls him Eliphaz the Temanite. See that? Is that clear? Everyone can see that. Because the landmass of Eliphaz was named after his son Teman. See that? And what was his son? He had a son named who? Teman. Who else?
And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman,
Were
Omar, Zepho, and Gatam,
and Kedan,
and Kenaz.
and Kenaz. These are all sons of Eliphaz, as you can see crystal clear. Right? And Zepho, listen to this clearly, because I want you to mark that, because we're going to go into the book of Jasher concerning Zepho. The Bible don't go into detail concerning some of these sons. But for those who may question whether or not we should go into the book of Jasher, I'm going to show you the scriptures where referred us to the book of Jasher in a moment. But let's stick with Eliphaz real quick. All right? And let's get some understanding on this in the book of Job, with Job friends. I need you to go to Job. Job 19 and 14 in the book of Job. Read.
Job 19 verse 14.
Go ahead.
My kinsfolk have failed, and my familiar friends have forgotten me.
My kinsfolk has failed, and my familiar friends have forgotten me. Read.
They that dwell in mine house, and my maids count me for a stranger. I am an alien in their sight.
So the people who was in Job's house began to go against him, based on this curse that befell Job when Satan came before the throne and tempted the Most High and said, well, you have a hedge over him. Take off that hedge and he will curse you. So the Most High said specifically, you can take anything you would like from him, but you cannot touch his spirit. You cannot kill him. So through this, now Satan is taking everything away from him. All right? His friends are going against him. What friends? The same three friends that we read in in Job, the 2nd chapter. Proof. Job 32 and 3. Now go down to the 19th verse first.
Read all the way through.
No, just go straight to 19.
Job
Because
19,
we got a few precepts here. Go ahead.
19 verse 19.
Go ahead.
All my inward friends abhorred me.
All my inward friends abhorred me or hated me. Read.
And they whom I loved are turned against me.
And the same people whom he loved turned against him. So he lost his family, his friends who came to console them, end up going against him. And what did he do? Go to Job 32 and 3. Please. Read that.
Also against his three friends was his wrath kindled.
Against his three friends was his wrath kindled. The three friends, the same three friends that came to him in the 2nd chapter. Read.
Because they had found no answer, and yet had condemned Job.
So they begin to condemn Job. Same friends. Read.
Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken, because they were elder than he.
Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Read it.
When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, then his wrath was kindled.
Go ahead. I need you to go down to where Job actually prayed for him. Job 42. Job 42, the 7th through the 9th verse.
And it was so that after the Lord had spoken these words unto Job, the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite,
The what?
the Temanite,
Esau's son, read,
My wrath is kindled against thee, and against thy two friends.
and against thy two friends, the same in the second chapter, read,
For ye have not spoken of me the thing that is right, as my servant Job hath.
go ahead,
Therefore take unto you now 7 bullocks and 7 rams, and go to my servant Job, and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering. And my servant Job shall pray for you. For him will I accept, lest I deal with you after your folly, in that ye have not spoken of me the thing which is right, like my servant Job.
go ahead.
So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite went and did according as the Lord commanded them.
Go ahead.
The Lord also accepted Job.
Read on.
And the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends.
So the Most High turned the captivity. Now he's turning things around now. He took the captivity off of Job, and what? Read that last part again.
Verse 10.
Yeah.
And the Lord turned the captivity of Job when he prayed for his friends.
When he prayed for his friends. So this is showing Job praying for an Edomite, Eliphaz the Temanite. To show you that there's nothing wrong with the children of Israel or any other race praying for other people. Now that's a perfect example of if you are doing what the Most High says, your race really don't play a part in this. If you're willing to turn away from Satan. That's the point I wanted to make there. But this gives you a time period in which the Job we will go into lived, to show you who he is and where he was. Now, I hope you all are following me, and I hope you all are writing down these precepts expressly. Let's go to Job, the 30th chapter. All right? Now, will the Bible tell you that Job was black? He's not saying he's black because his color of his skin. It's based on the curse of scabs that were placed on him. And you can read that in Job, the 2nd chapter, where he had scabs from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. That's what made him black. He had sores over him. So this is not a scripture you will go to say that Job was a black man. That's talking about the curses and the boils that were placed over Job. Let's go to Job 30 and 1. Read it.
Job 30 and 1.
Read.
But now they that are younger than I,
Now they that are younger than I
have me in derision,
have me in derision,
whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
Now, some people go there and say, well, this is Job speaking against Esau. And it's not talking about that. I'm going to prove that. Read.
Yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished? For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste.
Fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. Who is this talking about? Because this is during the same time he's in the land of Uz dealing with Eliphaz. This is him speaking of the Horites, who were also in Mount Seir before Esau got there. They were cave dwellers. They were called Horites. Let's go to Genesis, the 10th chapter. Before you go there, let's go to Genesis 36 and 20. Genesis 36 and 20 to see whose Job is speaking of here. Read.
These are the sons of Seir, the Horite.
The Horite, read.
Who inhabited the land Lotan.
Who inhabited the land Lotan. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, let me read that again. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite, who inhabited the land.
Go ahead.
Lotan and Shobal, and Zibeon and Anah.
Okay, and when you go into the Horites were the families of the Nephilim that were there before Esau got there. These were they whom Job wouldn't let sit with his dogs, and they began to try to destroy him. They were the cave dwellers before Esau got there. So this is not speaking of an argument between Jacob and Esau. How do we know this? Because Esau came out before his brother Jacob. So it's not speaking of that. It's speaking of these hybrid beings, these Horites who were in the caves before Esau and them got there. That's what it's speaking of. All right? When it says younger than I, why? Because they wasn't from the beginning of creation with Adam and on. They came through the seeds of Nephilim. And down these powers have began to destroy Job and go against him. It's speaking of the Horites, the cave dwellers. It's not speaking of a struggle between Jacob and Esau. And I'm saying this because many people are making that claim. And one point, I believe that myself, for the record. But that's not the case. Okay? Let's go along and let's see if we can tie this up now. Let's go to the fact that Job was king. Let's go to Genesis 36. Hold that. Job, Genesis 36 and 33. Right? Excuse me? Yeah, Genesis 36, 32, and hold that. There's some other, let me make sure I got all these right here. One moment here. Job 19 and 9 is what I want. Let's go to Job 19. And read the 9th verse.
He hath stripped me of my glory.
He hath stripped me of my glory. Talking about the curse that came down on Job. Read.
And taken the crown from my head.
And have did what?
And taken the crown from my head.
So we know according to this, at one point, Job was royalty. There's no scripture nowhere showing a king Jobab over the children of Israel, of the children of Israel. Now let's make that a record. And this is also a time period when you look at it, during the time of Esau. This is also a time period in which the children of Israel do not have a landmass for themselves in the land of Israel at this time. We're still wanderers at this time. Right? When I say that, this is well before us coming out of Egypt, what we're reading here, during the time of Eliphaz. All right? Read that again.
He hath stripped me of my glory.
Go ahead.
And taken the crown from my head.
And taken the crown from my head. So this Job, or Jobab, is king. Hold that, and let's get Genesis 36 and 32.
And Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom.
Now Bela was from the children of the east, and we're going to prove that, which were probably seeds of Ishmael at this time. At this time, Edom did not have any other race, didn't have any of their own race rule over them. Bela was an outside king that ruled over them. I'm going to prove that in a moment. But then we read,
and the name of his city was Din-Habah.
Go ahead.
And Bela died.
And Bela died.
And Jobab, the son of Zerah of Bozrah.
Of what?
Of Bozrah.
Of Bozrah. Bozrah is the capital of Mount Seir, or Edom. Read.
And Bela died, and Jobab, the son of Zerah,
And the Jobab, the son of Zerah, read,
of Bozrah, reigned in his stead.
reigned in his stead. This is a king from Bozrah, which is in Edom. Are you with us? Here's a Jobab with a crown. In the book of Job, the crown came off of his head. I hope you all are looking at this. Is that clear to you? Okay, now there's more. Go to Genesis 36 and 13 so that we can trace the lineage of Zerah to see who Jobab's father was. Genesis 36 and 13, read it. Start at 12.
And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son.
Esau's son, they go Eliphaz, Esau's son, giving us a time period, read.
And she bare to Eliphaz Amalek.
Amalek.
These were the sons of Adar, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Reuel, Nahath, and Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These were the sons of Bishemath, Esau's wife. And these were the sons of,
Read 13 again. And these are the sons of Reuel.
And these are the sons of Reuel, Nahath, and Zerah.
And Zerah. And we know that Zerah had who? Jobab. And this is what put Jobab within the generations of Eliphaz, his friend. These are all Edomites. Cannot be disputed. Now, some people may ask, well, why is it that another nation got a record in the book of the Hebrews? Well, Esau was a Hebrew. And Job did not reign or rule over the children of Israel. This is the testimony of someone, one out of many of Edomites who chose not to follow Satan, and was a testament as an example of a Gentile that followed the Most High, and the Most High acknowledged them as upright. Crystal clear. Cannot be disputed. So this is not an Edomite ruling over Israel. He's in his own land, but he's acknowledging the children of Israel, and that was a testimony of a nation, a person out of a nation acknowledging the Most High. And that wouldn't be the first time. Ruth, in the book of Ruth, was a Moabite, and her record is in Scripture. Okay? It doesn't take away from the fact that we're the children of the promise. You don't have to knock down any other people and their obedience to the Most High to uphold yourself. We're already written in the Scriptures. So if there's individuals who the Most High made a record of showing a testimony that are not Israelites, that's fine too. That doesn't take away from the promises. That doesn't take away from the fact that the Most High is going to take down Edom in his government. Now, let's go into the book of Jasher to round this up. Give you more time periods here. Before we go there, so that people can know that the book of Jasher is a reputable record you should read. Hold that and go to Joshua, the book of Joshua. The book of Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
10 and 13, read.
Joshua chapter 10, verse 13.
Read it.
And the sun stood still,
And the sun stood still,
and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies.
go ahead.
Is not this written in the book of Jasher?
Is not this written in the book of Jasher? showing you that the book of Jasher is a record referred to within the Bible. Now, there's more if you want to find another one too. Let's get the one in Samuel real quick. I think it's 2 Samuel 1. Let's see.
1 and 18.
1 and 18, yes.
Also he bade them, teach the children of Judah the use of the bow.
Read.
Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher.
It is written in the book of Jasher. Crystal clear that Jasher is a reference book that the Bible referred to itself. The question is, why don't you have the book of Jasher in your learning? Why haven't you heard of this in the Christian churches? Why? You have a programmed religion under the Roman Empire who was set up to destroy you. And they would never give you access to your own record. Therefore, you become a slave to their teachers, who are not Israel at all. They are against the Bible. All right? Hosea 4 and 6, our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Now, let's go into the book of Jasher. And I need you to read Jasher, the 58th chapter, the 26th through the 27th verse.
Jasher 58, verse 26.
Go ahead.
And when the children of Esau saw that their king had died in battle,
When they saw their king died in battle, read.
they hastened and took a man from the people of the children of the east.
Go ahead.
His name was Jobab.
His name was who?
Was Jobab,
His name was Jobab, read.
the son of Zarach, from the land of Bozrah.
From the land of where?
Bozrah.
From the land of Bozrah. Now, some people will look at this and say, well, they must be different. No, it was speaking of the fact that Jobab's mother was from the people of the east. They wasn't purebred Edomites from the mother and father side. Okay, the mother was Ishmael, the children of the east, of Saudi Arabia, who had Jobab. Okay, and you can actually do the research on this. It's crystal clear. Because Bozrah is where? Like we read in Genesis 36. So we have placed the king Jobab with Edom with two separate records. So if that's not the Job whom the Bible is speaking of, I need someone to prove what Job is he speaking of in the scripture. What Job that was crowned king? Show me that. Outside of this king that was in the land of Uz, which Esau took over according to the book of Lamentations. Mother Ishmael, father who? Esau. Finish reading. So you did Jasher 58, 26 through 27. Now when you look at this during the same time that Zepho was taken captive into Egypt during the time of the Hyksos, or the time Israel ruled in Egypt. So at this time when Job was ruling, our people were in Egypt. Another record to give you a time period. It was the time that Joseph was set up our people during the Hyksos period in Egypt. We weren't in the land of Israel at this time. All right? So, I hope with this together, along with the information we showed you last week, you know beyond any shadow of a doubt the ethnicity of Job. And that does not take away the fact that his younger brother will rule. Okay? I'm going to say shalom on that, open it up for questions. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Now, this was just a lesson, but we're going to put it together in a document with the fully broken down, and we'll probably go over it in more detail within the academy itself. Okay?